Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be walking you through how to search for journals for your paper. You have done those beautiful work, you've done that particular beautiful research, but you're looking for a house, you're looking for a journal where you can publish the paper. So I'll be walking you through tips and insights that will be helpful to you in searching for journals. The very first thing that you have to understand is that you have something called publishers. And publishers are like a house with quite a number of people living inside. So, for instance, Elsevier is not a journal, but it is a publisher. Wiley is not a journal, but a publisher. What this means is that under Wiley, we have quite a number of publications, quite a number of journals, under each of these publishers. So if you know quite a lot of reputable publishers like Wiley, like Taylor and Francis, like Springer Nature, like Elsevier, the big four, we also have even more than 100 publishers. So what you need to do is that once you know the publisher, you know the name of the publisher, you can easily go on Google, search list of journals published by Elsevier. It's going to give you list of journals. You're going to see a link where you see all the journals published by Elsevier. List of journals published by Springer Nature. You're going to see a lot of journals coming up. List of journals published by Taylor and Francis. List of journals published by Sage. You're going to see a lot of journals coming up, and it will make it easy for you to make a decision on the journals where you want to submit your paper to. So understanding publishing houses and publisher will make it easy for you to identify potential journals where you can take your paper to. Don't let me hear you again saying that Wiley is a journal. Wiley is not a journal, but a publisher, which houses quite a number of journals. For instance, we have Public Health Challenges under Wiley. We have Journal of Science Reports under Wiley. We have a lot of journals under Wiley. So Wiley is a publisher that houses quite a lot of publications, quite a lot of journals. So I hope you're able to understand what publishing houses are all about. Another way for you to identify potential journals where you can submit your paper to is by understanding that we have something called institutional-based journals. And what this means is that there are some institutions that they have their own journals. Let me give you an example. American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, they have their own journal. Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, they have their own journals. So there are some institutions, even university, that they have their own journals. So if you know of an organization or of an institution that works maybe your own area of interest or in a topic that is similar to what you are working on, or you just have an idea of an institution, for instance, you can search for maybe your professional organization, whether they have their own journal. For instance, the Nigerian Medical Association, they have their own journal. So if you are a member, you can submit. If you are not a member, you can also submit to those journals. So this is just to make you aware that there are some journals that are institutional based. For instance, some universities, they have their own journals. Some organizations, they have their own journals. So we have institutional based journals as well. So you also need to be aware that we have something called institutional based journals. Another strategy for searching for journals is that you can just easily go on Google, search for possible keywords, or search for title of the paper that you're working on. You can search for the title and you can see similar journals, similar papers coming up. Then that will give you possible ideas of interesting journals where you can take your paper to. You can also go to Google Scholar, googlescholar.com, go to Google Scholar, search for title, keywords of possible of the paper that you're working on. You're going to see different journals that different papers that are coming up from different journals. So that will make it easy for you to identify potential journals that, oh, this journal is likely going to have interest in my work because you've seen a similar paper based on the keywords that you search. You can go to Scopus, you can go to Web of Science and repeat similar things. So you can go to scientific databases, search for keywords of the paper that you're working on. Once you search for that, it will be easy for you to see different journals, different papers that have been published in the past in area that is similar to the work that they are trying to submit, or the paper that you're working on. So that's also a very good way for you to identify potential journals where you can submit your paper to. So another way for you to identify potential journals is by looking at the reference list that you cited. Of course, when you are doing your own research, you cited some scientists, you cited some papers. And those papers, of course, I'm sure in a way they'll be related to what you've done. Maybe not all, but some of them. So if you look at the references of the paper that you are trying to submit to a journal, you can also have ideas of possible journals where you can submit your paper to. So looking at the reference list of journal articles or even your own paper that you've referenced makes it easy for you to identify potential journals. This is what I'm saying. When you want to submit a paper to a journal, look at the reference list of that paper. You are going to see some journals there, which will give you possible insight of interesting journals that will be relevant for the work that you have done. Or you can just go online and look at the reference list of other papers that are similar to the work that you have done, and you also have some possible insight on potential journals where you can submit your paper to. If you find it difficult to find journals, you can simply ask. Just ask. Ask experts, ask mentors, ask people that have published previously in that area. You can ask for possible recommendation of journals where you can submit your work to. So asking for recommendation for possible journals where you can submit your work to is not bad. So you can ask mentors, you can ask researchers, friends on possible journals where you can take your work to, especially people that have worked in that area. So that's also a way for you to be able to get ideas on possible journals where you can take your work to. Another tip is that you can actually follow top researcher in that area. For instance, you know that this person is an expert on antimicrobial resistance. You know this person is an expert on diarrhea. You know this person is an expert on cholera. You know this person is an expert on tobacco harm reduction. What you can simply do is that you can go through their papers or maybe on Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and you can have a rough sketch or rough idea of possible journals where they published in the past. And that will make it easy for you to also identify potential journals where you can take your paper to. So look for experts, look for researchers in your area of interest, and follow the kind of paper that they publish and where they publish your work. That can also give you insight. You don't even need to talk to them. It's available. It's easy for you to have access to. Just go on Google Scholar, go on ResearchGate, look at the list of journals where they've published in the past. And you yourself, you also do similar work. You are doing similar research. That will make it easy for you to search for papers, search where they've published in the past, and that will make it easy for you to also identify potential journals where you can take your work to. As simple as that. Lastly, importantly, with experience, you are going to learn more about different journals in your field. The more you read papers, the more you conferences, the more you engage with that particular field, you tend to learn more about journals. With the tips that I've mentioned, I hope and I'm sure it's going to make it easy for you to identify any journals. For a quick recap, we have publishers. We have different kind of journals under different publishers. We have different big publishers like Sage, Elsevier, Taylors and Francis, Springer Nature, Wiley. So we have quite a number of publishers and they have different journals under them. So once you identify the publishers, check for different journals that they have, and that will make it easy for you to identify potential journals where you can take your paper to. Another thing is to understand that we have institutional-based journals. We have some institutions that they have their own journals where you can submit your paper to. For instance, like I said, you have Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. They have their own journal. So there are some institutions that they have their own journals. And of course, another thing you can do is to search for scientific databases. Go to scientific databases and search for keywords. And that will lead you to different papers and you will be able to see where those papers are published. For instance, if I want to work on cholera and COVID, I can just go on Google Scholar and search for cholera and COVID, or go to PubMed, search for cholera and COVID, and that will make it easy for me to see possible journals where people have published similar papers in the past. So another thing that you can also do is for you to check the reference list. Check the reference list of your work, of your research, or of other people's work, and you'll be able to see some ideas of possible journals where you can submit your work to. And of course, you can also ask mentors, ask top researchers, just ask people if you find it difficult to find journals where you can submit your work to. Another thing you can do is to identify top researcher in a particular area and see where they've published in the past. That will also give you possible insight on where you can take your paper to. And of course, experience. With time, you tend to learn more about different journals in your field. But these are just quick tip and quick overview of possible insight that will make it easy for you to be able to search for possible journals. In another video, I'm going to be talking about things that you need to consider before you publish your work in a journal. So till then, see you, and thank you very much for watching my YouTube videos. Please like and subscribe.